I just want to review this and then end our time together. Church is people and how people relate to one another. That's the sampling of the church. Not this kind of once a week facade that you can create. Because like any kind of event you can create, right? I mean, you feel excited about it, but that's just could be almost like a show to draw the audience. But what's the real essence? It happens when in the small group dynamic. It's like mom and dad, when we go out to the public, we can put on a show, like, wow, we're the most loving couple out there. But what happens at home, on a daily basis that people can examine up close, that's what the real marriage is, right? If we don't have that there, then all the show and the facade is not going to prove anything. See what I'm saying? So just think of the ideal vision for your family. I know that you guys have it, each other. You guys talk things out. You relate to each other, right? And you're really bonded together. People see that, right? Only you guys know internally how you're doing, okay? And I told that the way to really make a judgment about a church is not what you do in this big assembly. I don't care how fantastic that setup is. That doesn't mean anything to me as to how the condition of the church is. I have to get a sample of the cell. I have to go in, dig in deep, and take the sample and look at it and say, are they really alive? Is something going on here? Because right now, in my gardening experience here, there's some trees, some plants that I thought it was like alive. And then later I found out it's been dead for weeks. It looks like it's alive. The leaves seem to kind of hang in there for a few weeks. But then they started just withering and dying. And then I cut to see if there's any green life still. No life, it's just dead wood. And then root is all dead. It's all falling apart. So what do you have to do is you got to get a sample right there in the middle to see whether there's real life. Organic, dynamic, just real togetherness, one anotherness, all of them are linked together. That's how we see whether there's life, of an organism. And yet, if you define the church as organization and how you plan things, how you produce things externally, sure. Let me give you an illustration like Theodrama. We do production, right? Okay, it looks good when we finally do it. But then, if you cut through and see internally that there's all this bickering and arguing, gossiping and backbiting and hating each other, but just for the showtime, when the lights are on, they go, ha! You can put on an act, you can fake it. All you want, People will buy into that. And for that moment, they might all come together just for that show. But what happens on a daily, weekly basis? That's what determines whether we go a long way as a Theodrama community or not. And we may have to close down the Theodrama community now. I'm realizing that we've been having some internal problems, and that's not being solved by the school, and school really has no priority of that. So I can't mobilize them for this because I don't want hypocrisy. When they stand up there to perform, they better really have it together. It's like trying to get everyone together, and she's just almost getting burnt out. And she only has one more semester, so I told her, don't worry too much. You've done enough, Rest, the school has to take care of that. You can't be messianic about this, Okay, so I hope that you kind of got an understanding of what church is. Church is always the people and how they are together as people. And to promote that has to be done in a small group setting, where the emphasis is not worship service per se, but it's the community really happening. And that's what Jesus wants to see. The worship emerging out of that community, out of that agreement, out of that togetherness, one another serving dynamic. And if that's not coming out of that, then it's hypocrisy. We're just putting on an act, putting on a show, and Jesus sees it right through. You see what I mean? And so I just want you guys to be a genuine and just authentic group. Just be an authentic community. And if you do that, you take this next few years, invest in that, then you guys going to be set up for rest of your life in this journey of doing church, doing mission and ministry. Okay? So I'm so excited about this. I'm more excited about this than your living church, community as a whole. I mean, that's good. I mean, you got money, manpower, everything, and good foundation. So I don't worry about that. I'm more interested in how you guys would establish the new foundation for fresh dynamic. And like I said, there's really no textbook for this because it's all different. It's like parenting. You parent a little differently than me and Esther did, right? And you guys are going to do fine. You're going to do better than us for sure, because we're giving you all our inputs and wisdom from years past and our mistakes, our failures. I hope that you don't make as many mistakes as us, in the process. I can tell you, I mean, you just ask questions long enough and we'll pour it all out. We don't have any anything to hold back. Okay? Yeah, one another. Just if you think about everything is like one another. Like you gotta not only keep your eyes focused on the Lord, but you gotta, see how each are doing. That's what we are. We are our brother's keepers, right? We have to constantly be on the lookout for each other, how they're doing, and we do it together. But so oftentimes there's this individualism, like what can I get out of this? Kind of selfish, mentality. Like I get this, I got that, and well then you got it, but rest didn't. What kind of ministry is that? The whole idea is that Jesus died so that we can live. He died so that his body can thrive, right? He bled, he was broken, therefore we as the body can come together. So if you want to be consistent with Christ's attitude, then you cannot just be an individualist. I personally, my makeup is like a loner. I like to do things on my own, figure it out, like a prophet who, goes off to the desert and receives revelation and comes back and boom, and then out of there. I'm kind of like that. That's by my nature. But the way I'm talking right now is completely changed version. And you know what helped me to change? It's my marriage to Esther. And that just really shattered my individualistic notion. I got to do it. And then children, my children really helped me, because for me, I cannot imagine, doing anything less than together as a family. And I'm still working on this right now. I'm still working on it. So that I check up on my family. Are we together? Are we one another constantly? And now having son-in-law and other sons-in-laws coming together, it's always going to be that way. And I just want us to have a future together in this. Okay?